All right, hello, this is Mr. Wallace. We are in Algebra 1. This is Unit 3. I'm going to be doing the Lesson 2 practice, numbers 1, 2, and 3 on page 8 of our packet. Excuse me. Okay, our instructions are function notation from an equation. Find the output for each input. So if we look at number 1, this f of x tells us, one, we have a function, and this function is basically called the f function. Anytime we have numbers in the parenthesis, that is always our input. That is always our x value. So we see this f of 4 right here, and that 4 means we put it into the x. We substitute it into the x of the equation. Right? So we can write it like this, f of 4. So if my input is 4, f of 4 equals 2. Now instead of the x, I'm going to put my 4, then plus 1. Notice that the x goes away. The x is not there anymore. Once that 4 is there, it gets put away. And so here I have 4 is my input. And now we just do the calculations here. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. So for the first part of number 1, my output is 9. All right. So basically what this means is when my x is 4, my y is 9. Because x is always my input and my y is always my output. All right. So same thing here, f of negative 5. I'm just going to do 2 times negative 5 plus 1. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. Negative 10 plus 1 is negative 9 this time. And then finally, f of 0. 0 in this case is a number, so I'm going to input 0 into the x. 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. Right? It looks like it could be confusing. We're not solving for the f. A lot of students think they're solving for the f. We're just putting those inputs into the output. Now, if you look at this down here, find x such that f of x equals 2. 2 is my y value now. I'm not going to put 2 into the x because this function is equal to 2. So what that means is my 2x plus 1 is equal to 2. When the number is outside the parenthesis, when it's my y value, I set them equal to each other and then I solve for x. So it's basically backwards. So now it's just a little bit of algebra. Subtract 1 from both sides. I'm running out of room here. I have 2x equals 1, because these ones cancel out. I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. My x is 1/2. Sorry that I ran out of room. So I have 2x equals 1. I divide by 2 on both sides, then my x value is 1/2. So what this means is when my x is 1/2, my y is 2. All right, let's go on to number 2 now. I have a function. This is function notation. This function is basically now just called the g function, g of x. X minus 5 divided by 2. Let's plug in our values again. In the parenthesis means it's my input, so I'm going to put 9 into the x. I'm going to substitute it into the x. So 9 minus 5. 9 minus 5 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. When my x is 9, my y value is 2. Here we go, we got 0. 0 minus 5 divided by 2. 0 minus 5, I'm going to put a little arrow there, is negative 5. Negative 5 divided by 2, we can either leave it like that, because that's a fraction that can't be simplified anymore, or we can do negative 2.5, either one, if you convert it to a decimal. All right, last one. I have 3 inside my x now. 3 minus 5 divided by 2. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. Negative 2 divided by positive 2 is negative 1. We can simplify that. And then down here, if you notice, I have nothing in my parenthesis again, so that means my 6 is my y value. That means I take this whole equation here, x minus 5 over 2. I set it equal to 6, and then I just solve for x. So I'm doing the exact opposite of what I did. Kind of similar to what I did the last part of number 1. All right. We've been learning this already. This is what we did at the very beginning of the year. To get rid of this fraction here, we need to get that x by itself. It's like reverse order of operations. I need to get rid of any fraction first before I do anything in the numerator. So I'm going to multiply by 2. The reason why I'm multiplying by 2 is you just multiply by whatever's in the bottom of the fraction. Boom, boom. I have x minus 5 equals 12, because if I multiply it on the left, I have to multiply on the right. And then I have x minus 5 is 12. Now this is easy. I just add 5 to both sides. X equals 17. So what this means is when my x value is 17, my y value is 6. All right, last one, number 3. These are good questions here. That 3, notice all of these now are in the parentheses, so I'm going to substitute them into the x. So 3 is my input. I'm going to put it right there. 3 squared minus 4. Now this is a whole lesson in itself if you don't know too much about exponents. This is not 3 times 2. What that square means right there is that you multiply by itself twice. So it's 3 times 3. 3 squared, which is 3 times 3 is 9. 9 minus 4 is 5. Okay, negative 4 into my x now. So I have negative 4 squared minus 4. It's not negative 4 times 2. It's negative 4 times negative 4, which is positive 16. Remember, if we square anything, it's always a positive number because 2 negatives make a positive. 16 minus 4 is 12. Put 0 into the x. Okay, well, 0 squared, that's still just 0. 0 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 4, negative 4. And then the very last one now, negative 2 squared. Negative 2 squared is positive 4. Because remember, 2 negatives make a positive. So that's positive 4 minus 4. All right, we just get 0, and that's okay. 0 is a number in this case. All right, that was numbers 1, 2, and 3 on page 8. Thank you so much.